Welcome to the United Constitutional Patriots show with your hosts Johnny and Chuck. Go ahead, Johnny, take over.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First, I want to hit on a couple things. One, we have a lot of cues tonight. We have probably going to take up most of the program this evening, so we'll have to cover other news later. However, I do want to give you a quick update. Still having serious fires on the West Coast. It is really bad. They did arrest the man that set the fires, even though there's a lot of them out. Now, I'm going to turn this over to Chuck. And first, he has a very special resuscitation he's going to do on the American flag. So, welcome to the United Constitutional Patriots Show. And don't forget to share. And Greg, I want to thank you for being here. Pete, I want to thank you. And I want to thank all of our listeners. I know we've got a lot of them. Last time we had 33,000. Not bad for our fourth show. So, Greg, or excuse me, Chuck, go ahead and take it over.
All right, sir. Yes, I have been asked to open the show this evening with a special recitation for y'all, and I may be doing this once in a while, but quite a few over the years, and so I was asked to open the show tonight. Recitation about our Old Glory. And you'll probably recognize it when you hear the words. Rather famous by a gentleman by the name of Johnny Cash. And it goes something like this. Through a county courthouse square, on a park bench, an old man was sitting there. Courthouse is kind of run down, he said. No, it'll do for our little town. Flagpole's kind of leaned a little. That's a ragged old flag you got hanging on it. I sit down. Been to our little town? I said, I think it is. He said, to brag. But we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. Oh, and that flag there when I was in Delaware. Powder burned the night that Francis Scott Key sat watching her writing. Grip in New Orleans with Pakenham and Jackson tugging at its seams. The Alamo. Beside the Texas flag, but sword at Chancellorsville.
Excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, Chuck, but you are breaking up really bad.
Do about it.
Go ahead. I didn't want to, but I want to let you know that your mic is breaking up real bad.
Down to now.
Go ahead. Okay, you completely cut out on us. Sorry, folks. This is, yeah, Chuck, we can't hear you at all now. This whole recitation, folks, while we're waiting for Chuck to fix his system, it was working great a minute ago. We keep having these small problems, but
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Chuck. I'm sorry, and I apologize, folks, for the delay. Go ahead and start over on it if you can. Make sure you don't move your finger on the mic because that might be what it is.
I have myself on voice activated because it at least sometimes allows me to go from to the Q page or article to article, and I'm able to. But anyway, we'll try this again. Hopefully, we're sounding better now. So let me start that over. County Courthouse Square. On the park bench, an old man was sitting there. Courthouse is kind of run down. He said, "No, it'll do for our little town." Flagpole's kind of leaned a little. And that's a ragged old flag you got hanging on it. Eat and I sit down. Is this the first time you've been to our little town? It is. He said, "Well, I don't like to brag." Out of that ragged old flag. You see, we got a hole in that flag there when you cross the Delaware. It got powder burned the night that Francis Scott Key sit watching the writing. He trip in New Orleans, Pakenham and Jackson. Fell at the Alamo beside the Texas flag, but no. She got cut by a sword at Chancellorsville and at Shiloh Hill. There was Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, and Bragg, and blew hard on that ragged old flag. Flanders Field in World War I from a Bertha gun. She turned blood red. Low. Korea. Vietnam.
Hey, Chuck. Excuse me, Chuck. You're still cutting out really bad. We'll just have to.
I give up.
We'll do it. That's okay. We'll do it in the next show, folks. For some reason, his mic keeps cutting out. I don't know why. So we'll go ahead and go into the cues because that's what everybody's wanting to hear. Now, we've got a lot of them, folks, and I mean a lot of them. So I hope you are ready for a lot of news. So go ahead, Chuck.
Can you hear me? How am I sounding now?
You're sounding good.
Yeah, it'll cut out when I start reading the cues, too.
Sounds clear.
Well, I've tried to do that recitation twice, and it. All right, folks. Well, yeah, this whole operation is screwing up on us, but we'll try. Okay, as you probably recall, evening we were going to do. Am I being heard now?
Yes.
As you will probably recall, folks, last Friday evening, we were preparing to do a show. Technical difficulties at that time. We were not able to do the show. So now because of that, we got a little bit backed up, if you would, on the cues. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to start with the this is basically start with the cues from okay, with the cues from July the 26th, was because I'm going to do the cues from the 26th. That'd be Thursday and Friday on Friday night show, and then didn't get to do it. So here we go. Oh, about 5 cues, I think it is. So you got a bunch of information to go through. So we start with number 1711. Posted a link. It's a PDF file. It's where Gomer unmasked And if you can get to the Q page, and by the way, it's https colon dash dash qanon.pub. https colon dash dash qanon.pub. That's one of the Q pages where all the poster and read the links and everything. And then Q says, what was the point of filing impeachment if Ryan was going, articles, if Ryan was going to reject? Well, last week, Republicans in the House, a number of them, finally decided that they were going to file impeachment proceedings against Rod Rosenstein. Okay? And once they did that, then Paul Ryan jumps up, announces that he does not support impeachment proceedings, and so that kind of stopped it at that point. Point of filing impeachment articles if Ryan was going to reject. Known beforehand? Yes, it was known beforehand he would do it. It was another setup, folks. This was to allow Ryan and show who he really is, as if we didn't already know. And interestingly enough, same time that this was happening, Jim Jordan, who would be the perfect Speaker of the House for us, announced that in January he will be running his hat into the ring for that job as Speaker of the House, for that position. Okay. Could Sessions publicly challenge Rod Rosenstein without creating a dilemma? That is no, because if you'll remember, the Attorney General recused himself from the whole Russian investigation. Being as he's recused, he's not supposed to know anything about it. He's not privy to any intel on that investigation. So if he challenged Rosenstein, if Sessions challenged Rod Rosenstein, it would create a dilemma. What events would immediately transpire if challenged Rod Rosenstein? Well, that would be that and know that although recused, been working on the investigation behind the scenes, investigating the deep state and what have you, putting the case together for quite some time that he was doing that, even though some people kind of looking down their nose at Sessions and why isn't he doing anything? Why isn't he doing anything? Because folks, they're going to make that blame sure. Of our patience or impatience, they're going to make absolutely sure that they've got everything you got to have in line so none of these people walk free. Okay, and that's exactly what they're doing. It immediately demonstrate that Sessions must be aware of key Mueller facts. Yes. Okay, facts that he cannot possibly know if recused. Facts, a case he is supposed to be recused from. Exactly. Challenge to Rod Rosenstein would immediately trigger attacks to remove Sessions, given his clear involvement in receiving information regarding a case he's fully recused from. Who does Huber report to? Sessions. Is it normal? Rosenstein is sidestepped regarding Huber, and COC. Is this important? Why did Sessions recuse? It was part of the plan. Left attacking Sessions. Not at the moment. exist based on this setup. Sessions can work behind the scenes. Big hullabaloo coming at him from the left. Yes. Okay. POTUS publicly expresses his anger regarding his recusal. Do you believe POTUS would allow a complete takeover of his DOJ being done behind the scenes to hold people accountable? No, he wouldn't. People have been asking, why is Sessions still there? Why is Rosenstein there? Why is right? Well, that's why, because there's stuff going on behind the scenes we don't know about. States the swamp is being drained. Well, I don't know about you folks, but I do. When POTUS states it's happening, do you believe it? POTUS would allow Sessions and Rod Rosenstein to run his DOJ if something wasn't being done to his liking. The president has never, as you and I well know, if we just stop and think about it, the president has never about firing people. So no, if something wasn't being done to his liking, if it wasn't being done the way he wants it done, they wouldn't be there. Clickbait just derails logical thought. Think for yourself, trust yourself. Don't let mainstream media or, those that have lost faith in Q or whatever do your thinking for you. Mueller investigating POTUS tweets for obstruction. Row seat. Oh, Q. Now, then we got into some interesting stuff. And Q1712, and you may have seen this photograph posted to describe the photographs and all that. But you may have seen this thing posted on Twitter, I should say, maybe seen some YouTube videos on it, that shows a picture of a woman, and I can't remember who they say it was, but it also shows a hand with a cell phone in it and a message on it that says, "Stand the F down." There was a message included with it that reads as follows: "You think this is some sort of game? This was a threat being thrown at Q and the Anons, which would be, if you think this is some sort of a game? Do you not understand that you are banking with people's livelihoods here? People's lives we're talking about. This is wrong on so many levels. Still, so many levels. Think you're so big and tough hiding behind a screen, you worthless redneck racist inbred pieces of, you have no idea who and what you're going up against. Something resoundingly clear to this cesspool and its inhabitants. All as anonymous as you think you are. Far from it. What you are doing is tantamount to terrorism. Will be repercussions. That's all I have to say. Well, then Q adds to that, because this was a threat, again, that was thrown at Q, and we'll talk about how it was done in a few minutes. But thrown at Q, the Q team, the Trump team, and the Anons on all this and putting the truth out, like us, okay? And Q said this back to him. He quoted Colossians 3:5. I wish he'd used the King James, but that's okay. Quoted Colossians 3:5, which says, "Put to death, therefore, belongs to your earthly nature: sexual immorality, impurity, lust, evil desires, and greed, which is idolatry. These, the wrath of God is coming, Colossians 3:5. And Q says, your evil has no place in this world. Q. Okay. Now, 13. And Anon said regarding the picture, shop, in other words, Photoshop. Well, not exactly Photoshop, and we'll get to what it actually was in a minute. Responds to that and says, the author of the post, the face is never the author. Direct comms come in many forms. All right, Q1714. Now these few Qs are on this, okay? The same subject, Q1714. The Anon responds again and says this from the beginning. Shops don't mean the post itself isn't real. Q asks, how do you hide a message in clear sight? Q1715. Okay. Reposts where he asked the question, how do you hide a message in clear sight? Then he adds to that, you'd be amazed how much on slash slash that's the chance. That's the Patriots fight board, okay? Data exchange, okay? And then he adds a link, Guardian Project, and it's about, it has to do with an app, a cell phone app, or it's an iPad app or something like that called Pixel Knot. Now, some of you may have heard of it. Phones or iPads or stuff like that. It's called Pixel Knot, and it's where you pick out a picture and then you type in a message and you hide your message in there, and then you have to have word to access the message. That's what that picture was. They were told you about a while ago.
Chuck, you're breaking up really bad. We didn't catch what you said. Go back one.
It was coming in clear here.
Go ahead.
So, Q1716 is a link to an article, and Q is showing with this article how news media is actually thanking because they think he's actually somehow think he's actually helping Mueller work against Trump by recusing himself and all that, and by not things seemingly. Okay, and he's helping them. That's exactly what Q's trying to point out here. In Q1717, all right, is a link to an article from thehill.com. Congressman Mark Meadows swaps Rosenstein impeachment efforts. Okay. It says, all right, off impeaching Rosenstein after leadership talks. Now, what happened was that during those talks, Meadows and the rest of them that had filed the impeachment proceedings were informed about what's going on behind the scene, and that Huber and the Inspector General Horowitz together since November on this whole thing. They weren't wanting him to go ahead with the impeachment of Rosenstein just yet. All right. Then we have Q1718, 1,718. Q reposts a couple of posts from back on the 2018. And it says 100% regulated. Some platforms will collapse under their own weight of legal activities. Q. The second one says track inside sales. Divestors. They know. Watch the sell-off liquidity events. Now, been watching, and we have around here. If you've been watching, the went up 140 points after the president's announcement that he had with the European Union on trade. Facebook that same day lost 120 billion, and Mark Zuckerberg, 15 billion in about 5 minutes. Now, how that happens, I'm not 100% sure. And Q says he wants to strip Zuckerberg of the chairman title. Barron's shareholder wants to oust Zuckerberg as Facebook chairman. Fortune holders try to hold Mark Zuckerberg Zuckerberg's chairman. Daily Mail. DC moves slow. Okay, so that's what happened to Facebook, and now since then, at a 20% slide, they also lost like 100 billion. Same exact way. Okay, and that is number 1719. Now, all right. Is Twitter near 20% slide? Question mark. Facebook near 20% slide? Question mark. All because of missed earnings? The street, no. Evident, I guess that may be referring to Wall Street. What does Wall Street know? Insiders dumping? Low. At check? Hands are dirty. Q. So now we know why what's happening to Twitter and Facebook are happening. Amazon lost somewhat. So Q number 1720. Some time ago back in the Q tweets, did a photograph that shows a street in London, and it looks like, because of the Ferris wheel and some other stuff there, it looks like this is probably Piccadilly Square. This is probably the Piccadilly area. It asks, when does a bird sing? But this time the picture has a circle around several people. Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. Another one is John McCain, no name. Another one is the lady that just got put in place as a director of the CIA. And I believe she's there because she's actually working with the president, and she's there because of what she knows are the plan. Okay? When does a bird sing? Well, when it's caged. Okay? All right, now to clear some stuff. These doggone stuff from YouTube keeps popping up on me. The notifications, folks. Forgive me. Okay, now 21. He reposts that same photograph. When does a bird sing? And then he quotes another photograph where he blows up one of the pictures of two of the people there as an arrow pointing to the female in that picture. And then right next to it is a picture of Lisa Page. And it is, in fact, Lisa Page and Peter Strzok there in Piccadilly Square in England. Picking up the dossier, folks, the Steele dossier. Out. All right. And I guess he's speaking directly to Lisa Page. This is not a game, Q. Q1722. Q reposts Lisa Page from 1721. And the word keep your promise, this is not a game. And then he adds that, Q adds to that, public awareness forces hand. In other words, Miss Page knew she'd been had. She quite suddenly became cooperative, if you will. Okay, Q1723. Okay, Q reposts where he said public awareness forces hand. And then he quotes, or then he says, Peter Strzok, round 2. So apparently Peter Strzok is going to come under the gun again with some more questioning. Lead investigator. Okay, so Peter Strzok was supposed to be like the FBI's lead investigator on Clinton, Russia. Okay, the Hillary Clinton investigation. And, the email investigation and the Russia collusion investigation. He was supposed to be the FBI's lead investigator in both of those cases. And it also turns out, we just recently found out, Mr. Strzok for doing that, he also was employed by the Central Intelligence Agency. Okay. In Q1724, he reposts. Sometimes he reposts what he just posted and then adds to it. He reposts the part where he says Peter Strzok round 2 and lead investigator HRC, and then he adds things up. Okay, and he adds from February 16th, 2018, to refresh our memories. Okay, one says warning. Strike package. NV warning. Okay, and then the second one is the picture from Piccadilly Square again, where they were meeting to pick up the dossier. And Q says UK in the kill box and stay alert. Q. Then all of that, and he says warning to UK, decipher regarding last redacted FISA. So this has to do with the redacted FISA document, declassified. No doubt in my mind. Uh, 1725, Q reposted that. And then he quoted, or then he posted an interesting picture. Not sure what this machine is in the picture, but he posted it. The QAnon phenomenon is getting around because it's got a. And he wanted us to see that. Okay. 1726. He reposted a Q from okay, which was quoted from a meeting that the congressman had with Peter Strzok. He was questioned behind closed doors first. Some of what was said out to Q team, and Q posted it on here. It's Peter Strzok text taken out of context. Peter Strzok, while emotional, these were Peter Strzok's answers. Over the election, I conduct myself with utmost integrity, without bias, while undertaking any such investigation, especially a high-profile case against POTUS. Insight. It was a bad idea to openly discuss my feelings, but in no way did those feelings impact my ability to conduct a fair and proper investigation. We followed where the facts took us. Yeah, right. Peter Strzok, I declined to answer that question on advice from counsel. Where the facts, and the question that he was asked was, when you state where the facts led us, what facts are you referring to? To date, there has been zero evidence of any such collusion in the Trump campaign in Russia. In fact, the only facts discovered thus far have been between the Clinton camp, Russia, and other foreign groups. Okay, so he was asked, where would you state where the facts lead us? What facts are you referred to? And he declined to answer that question. Strzok, on advice of counsel, I declined to answer that question. Please Strzok, because of an ongoing investigation, such answers may violate the security investigation. And then Strzok was told, Mr. Strzok, I believe nobody here is buying what you're selling. I believe there was and is a serious effort than you to remove Mr. Trump from office out of fear of what his administration may uncover. I believe you are being dishonest in your answers and frankly shocked you agreed to come here today. I believe everyone on this panel, minus those from the other side of the aisle, knew exactly what your answers would be. And if you think we are going to sit here, these answers, you would be foolish. We are also following the facts, and once we uncover more, we'll act accordingly. I'm glad you retained counsel. You'll need one, and hopefully they are very good. All right. And Q number 1727. And Anonymous posted and said, Gina, CIA director. The CIA London station is the main center of the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency in the U.K. Station chief. He was the chief of station in London for several years, circa 2009. Those ordered to testify, including former CIA chief Porter J. Gross, a woman who is not publicly named, who heads the agency's London station. She previously worked for the head of the CIA's clandestine branch, Jose Rodriguez, who is the focus of the investigation. She is now, okay, She is now the head of the CIA. All right. Also included in that an article from U.S. Top CIA officials appear before jury over destruction of Al Qaeda tapes. All right, so that's now Q1728. He posts a photograph of a Q from July. That was when this was posted, but he reposted a photograph that was posted some time ago, back on June the 10th, of a missile that was fired, and we talked about this in shows we did here a while back. But President's trip to Singapore, when he went to meet with Kim Jong Un, there was actually a missile that was fired. Meeting was taking place, and it was intercepted. And then on the trip back home, they flew a decoy plane over and back by another route, and there was a missile fired that came close to the decoy plane, but it was intercepted by a lone equipped with special weapons systems. Posted that, and he said unauthorized missile fired, unauthorized emergency incoming missile, Hawaii, POTUS Air Force One, POTUS reroutes. Coincidence? Investigations. Why? Because they weren't told. They don't know. There's a total blackout as far as giving information to the MSM on some of this stuff. To the American people, it's the MSM, the mainstream media. Okay. All right. 1729. An anonymous post, and he asked, where did the missile go? Blown up in the sky? Responded to that and said, F-16s intercept. Q. The anonymous repost and asked, an F-16 can shoot a missile out of the air? And said, specialized weapons package, classification level 5. Q. All right, now, 31. The anonymous post again with another question. Another anon post, who has the authority to launch a missile? Q said unauthorized. So, given COC, which is chain of command, launch. What does this tell you? Classification removal, Washington, minutes after. Okay. So, in other words, what he's saying, after that missile was launched, anything that will tell you who it was removed. Okay, I believe that's what. Okay. All right. This 1732, he reposts what he just said, given COC process to launch. What does that tell you? Classification removal, wash minutes after Q, and he adds to that specific reason for the reminder. It has a purpose. We'll get to the reason for the reminder shortly. All right. 1933. And he reposted a Q from May the 10th. It says Facebook is listening to you 24/7, 365, literally. F9 algorithm. They know what they're doing. Are they recording? Question mark. Metadata collection.
Chinese intelligence, General.
Oh yeah, okay. DARPA is the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. Okay, which is agency inside the Pentagon. Okay, and then in kill brackets, just as Michael that was Michael who just spoke up, just as he just said, in the kill box, Q has China, China, China. It has something to do with it. Okay. Or has something to do with it. Okay. Q 1734. Okay. Hans posted an article from the Hill. As was interesting. I found this very interesting. This was an interesting way to do it. Some time ago, that when the storm began, that the president would go on Twitter or something and say, "My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us." This is an article in the Hill. Trump ducks the media, cites bad weather, dies as he leaves for Iowa. And the non wrote reporters, because we are in the storm. Interesting. All right. Then 1735. And Q says, more precious than our children. Boundaries. Okay. Posts a link to the lyrics "Evil Has No Boundaries" by the heavy metal band Slayer. Okay. Okay. We say, blasting our way through the boundaries of hell. No one can stop us tonight. We take on the world with hatred inside, mayhem, the reason we fight, surviving the slaughters and killing we've lost from the dead, attacking once more, now with twice as much strength. We conquer and move on ahead. Well, I don't think that has anything to do with us, but posted that was the link to the lyrics to that song, "Evil Has No Boundaries." So he's talking about evil has no boundaries. So that has to do with what we're fighting against, folks. The choice to know will ultimately be yours. These people are sick. It's coming out, and it's fixing to begin to. People have been waiting for arrests to be made. Well, about all we can tell you at the moment is arrests are being made. Will be given to you at a future date. We are at liberty behind the scenes. He lists to a Fox News article. Okay, Honcho Les Munavis, who's some bigwig, will be accused of sexual misconduct. Latest Ronan Farrow bombshell report says, to those who are courageous enough to speak out, we stand with you. You are not alone in this fight. God bless. All right, then 36. Okay, is a photograph appears to have been taken at an airport. DCA Reagan National. at an airport, and in the picture, sitting over here at a desk or at a table, looks like he's reading a newspaper or something like that while he's waiting for his flight. To the right, over the cell phone to his ear is Donald Trump Jr. And there's somebody sitting in front of. You've got a cell phone. Be sure exactly the significance of the photograph right here, unless the person in front of Mueller with the phone to their ear is relaying something from Mueller to Donald Trump Jr. I don't know what's going on there, but it said, but Q asked, what are the odds? Okay. What are the odds of them being in the same place at the same time? Now, it started with Q13 or 1737 and going through 1740, testing something because 1737 says device test Q, create device test E Q, 1739 device test X Q, and 1740 device test C Q. So obviously they're checking, start posting again. Okay. The next post then after that was Q 1740. It was a photograph that was posted, that Q posted not too long ago. Of an Antifa demonstration, Black Lives Matter. I guess it's a combination Antifa, Black Lives Matter, but there's somebody is holding up which says, no pedo bashing, no Mike Cernovich. They're basically trying to normalize pedophilia, which I think we all knew was next once they legalized. The pedophiles were the next ones to come out of the woodwork. Okay, and Q writes, welcome orders, pro-pedo, destroy ICE, socialist movement, Antifa, party, dark to light, Q. All right, 1742, moving right along. And yes, we had a bunch of Q's to go back and cover. We weren't able to do the show Friday, so it kind of backed us up a little bit, but we wanted to catch you folks up. 1942, an anonymous post and says, SEC will investigate Facebook sell-off, insider trading suspected. Wife is lead investigator. Okay, this is one of the lead investigators that helped get the Clinton investigation and all that washed some time ago. Okay, 1743. Okay, excuse me, back to 1742. Q added to that. Family. And I guess he's talking about Peter Strzok. Okay. Follow family. Link to a www.sec. So that's one of the agencies, I guess. News press release. Okay. Text between Peter Strzok, Hodgman, is another one of the characters here. Think past settlements traded every single critical position. Have had their people in every position that they've needed to have them in. The circle, Q. 43. The non-posted. Q, will this still be the month for the truth? And what is conspiracy no more? Asked the question. He says, was the truth revealed regarding FISA, the dossier, Think Connections, D5, and for those that believe, suspect that D5 might be Donald Trump himself posting here, but anyway, okay. 1744, Q1744. Q says, okay, see, okay, he posted something from December the 17th, 2017. Said, have you been watching the news since Friday? Who is Peter Strzok? How is he paid? So he reposted this to remind you that he'd already posted something some time ago on Lisa Hodgman. Company, title, date promotion, focus on the date. This regarding Peter recently occurred that you know. Think Hillary Rodham Clinton emails, Weiner laptop, etc. The promotion of wife. How do they stack the deck? Who do they want inside the government? Well, they're people. What are puppets? You control a puppet. To do it is, by pulling strings. Another way to do it is blackmail. And the FBI, McCabe. What is a pattern? Follow the wives. Keep watching the news this week. Future proves past. Reread crumbs. Small. How many Democrats will not seek re-election? Why? What just passed in the Senate? Who is their new handler? Do as told. Why is this relevant? And the government is being gutted publicly. Bottom, middle, top. Hussein and bombs away. Merry Christmas, Q. And that was back before Christmas last year when that one was posted. So remember that, okay? The Q number 1745. And says, no, the truth was not revealed. Remember, Q asked the question, wasn't the truth revealed via, right? Okay. It also said, no, the truth was not revealed yet. FISA didn't have much impact. Still something missing to it, which reveals the whole truth. Well, Q responded to that and said this. He said, FISA start. FISA equals immediate of illegal acts regarding signers. FISA equal immediate confirmation start of Hussein's spy campaign. Election was based on false info. One of the signatures, one of the signers on that FISA document was Rod Rosenstein. FISA equals implicates Hillary Rodham Clinton, and the Democratic Party. Okay, hold it. Adam Schiff, feeders of false info with the intent of securing mainstream media. Insurance. FISA equals implicates senior members of MI5, MI6, SIS, U.S. Intel, White House, Five Eyes. This was the Obama White House, by the way. Republican Party establishment, of known corruption in effort to retain power and rig election plus safeguard events act while in power, given MSM fake push Russian narrative. FISA equals ties, MSM heads, TV / corporations to Democratic Party. Other forgotten heads, cooperation. FISA brings down the House. FOIA or Freedom of Information Act does not include FISA. By POTUS, key parts that factually demonstrate the dirty fake dossier was used primary source to secure highest level of intel spying on primary opponent, plus intel assets for domestic spying on the President of the United States for the office of the presidency of the United States of America. Logical thinking. FISA / spicing, foundation built Huber. Okay, now, who is the prosecutor, special prosecutor, has all the unredacted documents. He's got all the no spelling errors intended, mobile, unknown if above, Q. Okay. There, folks. Okay. 1746. What I just read and then added this to it. No matter what happens, the media will not push the truth. Get implicated in highest level treason event in U.S. modern day history. Looking at the highest level treason event in U.S. modern day history. Refer back to previous drops. Highest level treason event unfold in U.S. worldwide modern day history. Witnessed so many Congress and Senate seats vacate period of time. No. Witnessed so many CEOs, board of directors vacate events in a short period of time. No. Witnessed the DOJ, FBI, fire or release or vacate events in a short period of time. Whoever witnessed the vacating party, all positions, fight, push for the removal of duly elected president. In other words, he's asking, have you ever seen a time such a right on the part of the opposition party to remove a president? No, we haven't. Witnessed a former U.S. president travel the world ahead of or behind of the current to undo, threaten, hide previous current illegal corruption and events. Obama has been traveling and the president telling people not to worry, don't pay attention to this president because he won't be there for very long. Have you ever witnessed 40 to 50,000 sealed indictments? Oh, this is the first time not all federal criminal. Have you ever witnessed pedophile child exploitation people go down? Okay. As far actually the number of pedophiles that have been arrested and removed from the streets since the president took office is somewhere in the neighborhood of 10,000. Okay. Have you ever witnessed a similar rise up, mimics Nazi Germany with similar like logo, etc.? That would be Antifa. Have you ever witnessed there? Well, no, I never have. Witnessed unauthorized missiles fired. By the way, or what they thought was the president. Evidence yet dismissed. Have you ever witnessed foundations? Let's see. It's REC. Hundreds of millions receive hundreds of millions of dollars from specific terrorist sponsor organizations, etc., only to immediately cease once out of power. During the same period of time, nothing is happening. Do you not understand, comprehend what we are currently dealing with? Now listen to this, folks, carefully. Understand or comprehend what we are currently dealing with. Are dying. Threat of kill every second. There have been a number of attempts on the president's life, among others, members of his family, so on. Trust the most are the most evil. Game. Humanity is at stake. Q. All right. 47. Okay. 47. He reposts a post from 4th where all those links where they're trying to make Q out to be a LARP, Q out to be fake, conspiracy theory. And Q said all for baseless conspiracy. Enjoy the show. And then he lists a second sample of articles where they're trying to do the same thing. And then he says something big is about to drop. Q. 1748. He posts two tweets from the president. Tweet number 1 says, our great country has been divided for decades. Sometimes you need protest in order to heal, and we will heal than before. The second tweet was, I want to applaud in Boston who are speaking out against bigotry and hate. Our country will soon come together as one. Okay, and then Q says, listen very carefully. And okay, that is okay, and it was a video where Devin Nunes, Congressman Nunes, on Fox News, and he actually requested that the president go ahead and declassify the FISA, the complete FISA document, is looking at doing that at the moment. Okay. said, listen very carefully. And they said, POTUS legal in review, Huber. Okay, something big is about to drop. 1749 says Patriots are united in their pursuit of common goals. Right versus wrong, humanity. Power over another person is not okay. Not divided. Borders do not separate us. We fight together. We are strong together. Where we go on, we go all. Q. 1750. We're getting there, folks. Q number 1750. He posts another link. One is about Apple and Google profiting from apps promoting QAnon, Pizzagate, conspiracy theories. There's some app out there that promotes. There's an app. There's actually an app on. It's a cell phone app that you can, and it'll give you a notification whenever Q posts. They do not want you asking questions. They do not want you thinking for yourself. United. Live in fear, divided. They want you asleep. They want you blind. Just bypass the mainstream media. Hey, people united hold the power. 2016, power shall be returned to the people. Then Q 1751 posts that, and then he added CIA tactic of infiltration and internal disruption deployed on this board, the central hub. So he's talking about the Patriots flight board. World is here. QAnon phenomenon is known about worldwide now. This movement is much bigger than anyone can possibly imagine. Peace through strength. Okay. And then Q 1752, and things got interesting. In Q 1752, we have two pictures of the building. One is the whole building, and then another one's a close up of the building. And Q lists a URL to Avenatti.com. Now, Avenatti was I'm trying to think of her name, Daniels. Stormy Daniels. It was her. That's her lawyer, and this is a photograph of his office. On down outside of his office, which we'll get to. Okay. 53 Q post foundation, top to bottom, layers. Foundation. Start. People are more aware of current events. Establish link. Illegal acts to prevent or overturn presidential election POTUS. Evidence introduced. MSM covert link. Mainstream media covert link. Think sessions regarding leak investigations. How do you build a home? Structure, layers, Huber, Uranium 1, Iran, human traffic, Haiti, corruption, etc., etc. Logical thinking, Q. So they're building their cases by layer. Now, 54, we're back outside that building a while ago. That was building. Stormy Daniels' lawyer's building. This was on Sunday, folks. And it shows a picture of a man dressed in all black, a cell phone in his right hand, in his left hand, he's got it doubled up in his fist, and he's got his keys jutting out of the center of his fist in a defensive position for some reason, and it looks like the building. Now, it appears, from what I've found out since then, that this was a operator that took the pictures of the building that Q then posted. Okay. May, Michael Avenatti, work on Sunday. Feed, who is financing, Q. Right, 1755. Are we live? Do it. Said 5-minute delay, message sent. Okay, so he's meaning there's a 5-minute delay. These photographs being taken, and then they're being posted here. So 5-minute delay. And so a message was sent to whoever it had to be sent to prior to whatever went down there. It may have been Mr. Avenatti's arrest. I don't know. That here shortly. Okay, so 1756. Another tweet by the president. When the media, driven insane by their Trump derangement syndrome, eternal deliberations of our government, it truly puts the lives of many, not just journalists, at risk. Patriotic freedom of the press also comes with a responsibility to report the news. It said 2 minutes Delta, and it said, what a coincidence. SM and Killbox Q. They're apparently fixing to go after the mainstream media in a big way. Okay. 1757. Now, here is where we come back to Mr. Avenatti and why he may have been taken down, why he may have been arrested. We don't know that yet. There are some things going on that we're not at liberty to talk about, so we will not talk about them until we are. But then we will. When we're given the go-ahead, you'll know what we know. However, the picture of the missile that was fired on June the 10th at the president's Air Force One as they were flying the president back by another route. Okay. You believe in coincidences and post a link to a Twitter post by Michael Avenatti on the 10th. Okay. Photograph, ladies and gentlemen, of an aircraft that looks similar to Air Force One. It may not be Air Force One, but it looks similar. The of aircraft guns, or it's got it's the gun, it's the sight of a missile aimed at the plane. Noddy himself posted, this week promises to be very interesting. Might want to follow my Insta handle. That was posted on June the 10th, ladies and gentlemen, the same day that was fired at the decoy Air Force One. Avenatti, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, has something to do with knowledge of it, prior knowledge of it. Okay. Number 1758. And in Q 1758, Q continues along these same lines, and oddly enough, John Brennan. Okay. Now we know who he was. A former head of CIA under Obama. On June the 10th. The same that this missile was fired at the decoy Air Force One. And here's what John Brennan posted. He reposted a tweet from Donald Trump about Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada in the G7 meetings, and then, which was just before the trip to Singapore to meet with Kim. He went to the G7 meetings. And Brennan then posts himself and says, your wrong-headed protectionist policies and antics are damaging our global standing for national interest. Your worldview does not represent American ideals. And then he says this, and friends, Mr. Trump is a temporary aberration. You once knew will return. Showing us is that people like Michael Avenatti, Stormy Daniels' lawyer, John O'Brien, among others, were involved in an attempt in the United States on June the 10th, and that was thwarted. Q number 1759. An anonymous posted and asked Michael Avenatti. 1760. We're closing in on it, folks. One of the anons reposted Michael Avenatti's this week promises to be very interesting. Had that airplane on the with the sighting system from a missile on it. Responded to that and says, and this was what or Q that was posted on June the 10th. That said, start the clock, a week to remember, think logically, first private, classification level 5, and then 6 in brackets. The first meeting was private. The first meeting between Kim and the president was behind closed door. The second one was public, on guard. But they weren't guarding the president. Evidence kills. Stupid. Tells us that the president in the closed door meeting was given some kind of evidence from Kim. Okay. All right. One Q post and says, bigger than you realize, real traffic this is generating, connecting people together. And stay the course. Where we go one, we go all Q. Okay. All right, 1762. And now these are today's Qs, just a few of them. 1762. What happens? California is in serious debt. Already aid due to sanctuary city status or sanctuary state status. Mark. Like fires, state of emergency, and request billions. POTUS reject in the past. Sick people. The more you know. And he posted links to several articles having to do with the California wildfires. Fine, folks, is that apparently those wildfires that are raging out in Colorado, and by the way, but out in California, in Northern California and Southern Oregon. And by the way, one of those fires also claimed the lives of a 70-year-old great grandmother and her two great grandchildren when their house was consumed in one of those fires. Those fires have been set intentionally to try to force the government because California's going broke, folks. 1763. Those you are taught to trust the most. Articles, links to several articles posted there, having to do the Roman Catholic Church and the situation they're having with the pedophilia inside the church. Dark to light. Q. 4. All right, there's a link to Department of National Intelligence files, documents, PDF file. Nicholas Rasmussen, seem to remember, former director, PC. Okay, the McCain Institute.org. Okay, and has something to do with that. Think FISA. That's John McCain. White House visitor logs. Hussein. White House visitor logs. No name. Brennan Hussein. White House visitor logs. No name. Comey Hussein. Dates. Visitor logs. No name. Brennan Clapper Rice Hussein. Replaced by, okay, and then he gives a link to another thing there. It said Defense Intelligence Liaison to British Intelligence in London. Okay, current director of the CIA. The CIA's office in London when the dossier changed hands. So she knows quite a bit. That's why she's now the director of the CIA. That's good. Okay, UK bio remove. CIA station chief, London, UK. Haspel is seen as a Russia expert and close ally of Britain's MI6, having been London station chief from 2014 to 2017. To a Guardian article about that. The more you know, Q. All right. 1765. It says, okay, Michael Avenatti office, the feed. Did Anons get the wrong angle? Anon posted that. Did the Anons get the wrong angle on this? He's asking Q that. Who's, whoops, wait a minute. Page. Looks like we got, okay, looks like we received more Qs. did. Hold on a second. Let me get back down here. Okay, Q had posted who's supplying the feed. Feed as in the image, camera feed. Remember, the feed is flipped. Why? Guys are taking bad actors. Think mirror. What if the people in the vehicle on Sunday at Michael Avenatti's office, bad actors are the ones supplying the feed? The images have been ripped, taken from their phones, like KJU photos. The man in black was the operator who took the two photos Avenatti office that Q posted moments earlier, phone in hand. Excuse me. Shades, poor facial angle. There can be used to easily identify the individual, even more so if he's an operator. Would explain the blanking bricks and asking the Twatterverse for help. And Q responded to that and said, "Who supplied the feed?" And it says, SACF, SA. Well, it says Saudi Arabia, but I don't know about that. Clinton Foundation. All U-access kills spook. All right. Then there's 1766. Right on schedule. Article from the Daily Beast that said Avenatti targeted in person by QAnon, the crazy pro-Trump conspiracy theory. Out there photographing his office. For crazy conspiracy theory, folks. All right, now, second, we're almost done here, but oddly enough, just as I was about to get to the end, posted twice more. Okay, all right, and Q says, "Here we go," and then there's another. There's a link to another Guardian. That's a British paper, Guardian.com article on 4chan right-wing conspiracy theory explained. Yeah, right. And then Q1756. Okay, he shows a couple pages from from a search page for QAnon. Okay, and he's showing here that when you search, really nothing comes up. It's just a bunch of other stuff that posted this. And the guy says, "Look who's writing about Q in the articles about QAnon. Pizzagate accusing actors of pedophilia. They're scared." Okay. Yeah, there's Tom Hanks. Berg have been accused of pedophilia. There's a bunch of that stuff coming out now, where they weren't reporting on it before, but that kind of stuff coming out now. Well, folks, bearing with me, covered an awful lot of Qs. Well over 50 of them, I believe it was. But we decided, we felt like we wanted to get you folks caught up so that you would know what was going on. We do have a lot of news articles that we could cover, but we're long right now. I have concluded the clue post for this evening. This time, go ahead and turn it back over to Johnny, and we'll see what else he has.
Thank you, folks. And thank you, Chuck. We apologize for the problems we had having with the mic tonight. But okay, I've got a couple things I want to cover first. We do have a post that was sent to us today where Governor Brown just released 10,000 pedophiles from California state prisons, which has me a little upset. And we have a situation in Louisiana and Texas at Cato Lake, on the Texas-Louisiana state line, where they're trying to pull another, what would you call it, well, Oregon, California deal went from the people. Started out 900 and some square acres. Now I think it's 12,000 square acres because they're trying to take in the waterways, everything. Now this is the left. It's a Democratic Party that in Louisiana and Texas. But we will.
1,400.
Is it 1,400? Okay, but we will cover this on our next show. This did run longer, but I want to cover one other thing because there's been a lot of questions asked. Now, you can find this, and you cannot find it on the internet, period. It was not, we've had this, we've reported a couple times on it, and I'm going to go through it one more time. It's www.someonesbones.com. Okay, and it's Delta Force on standby to apprehend Obama. Now, I'm going to read the complete article to you. This is what we know, and this is vetted and confirmed. This did not come out on Facebook. I want you folks to understand that. So, hang on just a second, and I will read you the complete report on it. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Chuck, can you hear me? Oh, Chuck, I won't let me read this report. Well, I can read it, but you couldn't hear me when I asked if you could hear me. What it amounts to, you can go to the United Constitutional Radio. I believe it's our second program. It's on YouTube. And this is on there. People were asking, is it true? Yes, it is true. Yes, they are going to arrest Obama. Trump is using the Delta Force to go after him. He will not be arrested in the United States. He is not an American citizen. And by the way, Obama and Kigalo, Africa, admitted he is not an American. He admitted he is the first president from Africa to be the sitting president. He was proud of that. Well, got a surprise for him. He is going to be arrested. The whole thing is laid out on this Someone's Bones, www.someonesbones.com. You can look it up. Delta Force on standby to apprehend Obama. It will explain everything. Yeah, actually, I guess since I know I can't go over to this and read it with my system, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I want to thank Mike Stewart, who Mike has on Facebook every evening. Mike has the Mike Stewart Show, and he covers a lot of the stuff we cover. He is one of our staff, and this man, he may get a little upset when he's talking about things and get a little over ambitious, but I'll tell you what, he knows what he's talking about. Listen to him. Greg has been great working with us, and because of him, we're able to streamline to more people. Total last count of our last show that we did, I understand we had 33,000 or more listeners. I want to welcome all of you to the United Constitutional Patriot Radio YouTube. We're here every Monday, Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6 o'clock Mountain Time. And if you got comments, shares, please share this because we need to go viral with our information. Our next show, we will cover a lot of stuff to include more cues. They have priority over the rest of the news because a lot of people want to hear. So I want to say thank you. God bless you, and God bless America. You all have a good evening and have a great week. Talk to you later.